It is Sunday, and this is Sunday school. Welcome to Sunday school. Do I look overdressed for being in the house? Actually, this is probably the coldest room in the house, and it's a cold day. But I know it's pretty lucky because the sun is shining and it's not wet, and there's no hurricane going on, and so compared to the rest of the world, I guess we're pretty lucky. But it is very, very, very cold. And I would like to thank everyone who responded to my not so subtle plea to subscribe to our Patreon account yesterday. Thank everyone who responded. That's we appreciate it very, very, very much. Anyway, today is Sunday, okay, and all over the world on often on Sunday, but for no particular reason that it need to be on Sunday. But uh, people all over the world are celebrating the public celebration of the Gnostic Mass. Okay, it's a beautiful mass written by Crowley in the early years of the 20th century, and it is a gorgeous ceremony and sort of elaborate and everything else, and it's meant to be a public event or semi-public event that well, anybody is welcome as long as they behave themselves, of course. Uh, but it's a beautiful ceremony that has a priest and a priestess and a deacon and attendants and things like. It's beautiful. It's elaborate. When it's celebrated by a competent ritual team, it is awesome, and it elevates the consciousness uh, of anyone that would go see it. Hardly anyone is left unmoved in one way or another. From a technical aspect, the secret is sort of an alchemical uh, uh, enactment, I guess, of an alchemical operation. Uh, and that's sort of illustrated in two of Crowley's tarot cards, the Lover's card, which is Gemini, and just opposite in the zodiac is the Sagittarius card. So this would be Solve et Coagula. And it's a generic secret. And when I say generic, I mean with a capital, biggest freaking capital G that you can think of. It's a generic formula of creation itself. And it seems to deal with the duality of male and female, as in the contributions created by the male and the contributions uh, uh, offered by the female in the procreation process. And for that, people say, well, it's so generically specific and things like that. It is on the outside, okay, but it's not dealing so much. The focus isn't on the duality of the genders, than upon the love, the power, the force, the energy of the love of the uniting of any opposites, any opposites. Uh, the complete uniting of any opposite creates a spark, if you will, an explosion, probably is a better description. an energy release, which is the force of creation itself. I'll just say that. Okay. And the Gnostic Mass uh, is one of a million ceremonies that could be created that would enact this blending of one opposite with another until and the union is no longer a union. It's the creation of a single singularity, uh, which sparks a new creational cycle itself, or a creative cycle. So that being said, I'm going to read just what Crowley has to say, just a little bit about the Lover's card. Uh, it's from the Book of Thoth, but he writes a whole lot about it that we're not going to read very much. But I'm just going to read this much before I come to the great clincher of a bottom line of this Sunday school. So I'm going to hold up the Gemini card, the Lovers. Okay, and he goes to great lengths in explaining why there's a focus on the brothers Cain and Abel and stuff, which has to do with one of the aethers, one of his visions of the Enochian aethers, where he is given the description of the primitive, the first primitive legend upon which the Lover's card was based, and that includes the dynamics of Cain and Abel's story, and the Eve and Lilith. But in a sense, that's a story itself. It's sort of like an examination of the primitive and, as Crowley mentions, misunderstood first fable. But once we get to the chemical marriage here going on, that's sort of what the Gnostic Mass is focusing on. This part is this part of the card has been simplified from the chemical marriage of Christian Rosenkreuz, a masterpiece too lengthy and diffuse to quote usefully in this place. But the essence of the analysis is the continuous seesaw of contradictory ideas. It is a glyph of duality. The royal persons conceived are the black or Moorish king with a golden crown, and a white queen with a silver crown. He is accompanied by a red lion. That's sort of like his best man. Let's see. He's accompanied by a red lion, and she by the white eagle. So lion and eagle, okay, are alchemical glyphs for sun, moon, fire, water, male, female. These are symbols of the male and female principles in nature. They are therefore equal in various stages of manifestation: sun and moon, fire, water, air, and earth. In chemistry, they appear as acid and alkali, or more deeply, the metals and nonmetals, taking those words in their widest philosophical sense to include hydrogen on one hand and oxygen on the other. Crowley loves his chemistry. In this aspect, the hooded figure, that's the hooded figure right there, He's making the sign of the enter, or in this case, it's sort of like a benediction. That's the preacher. That's that's who's officiating this wedding ceremony. And he's identified by Crowley as the hermit. Uh, in this aspect, the hooded figure represents the protein element of carbon, the seed of all organic life. The symbolism of male and female is carried on still further by the weapons of the king and queen. He bears the sacred lance. There's the lance. And you see it's in his left hand there. Okay. And she, the Holy Grail. And there's the Holy Grail right there. Their other hands are joined as consenting to marriage. Now, there's their other hands, and they're holding it there. Now, no matter what you read on the internet, his black hand there is not holding the hermit's. He's not holding the hermit's penis that's squirting into the cup there. That's not, no, that's her sleeve. That's her little white hand is in his black hand there, and that's her sleeves. And it just is sort of a graphic, a bit confusing there. But please, although there are all sorts of sexual elements in this card, I mean, transcendently sexual elements in this card, that's not one of them. Okay. Their weapons are supported by twin children whose positions are countercharged. For the white child not only holds the cup, but bears roses, and the black child, holding his father's lance, also carries the club, an equivalent symbol. At the bottom of the whole is the result of their marriage. In primitive, in pantomorphic form, it is the winged Orphic egg. This egg represents the essence of all that life which comes under the formula of male and female. It carries on the symbolism of the serpents, which is the king's robe is embroidered, and the bees which adorn the mantle of the queen. The egg is gray, mingling white and black. Thus, it signifies the cooperation of the three supernals on the tree of life. The color of the serpent is purple, Mercury in the queen scale. It is the influence that God manifested in nature, wherein the wings are tinged with crimson, the color in the king scale of Bina, the Great Mother. In this symbol, therefore, is a complete glyph of the equilibrium necessary to begin the great work. But as to the final mystery, that is left unsolved. Perfect is the plan to produce life, but the nature of this life is concealed. It is capable of taking any possible form, but what form? That is dependent upon the influence attendant on gestation. So that egg needs to get itself gestated, and that happens in the final stage of the operation. See that that yellow ring around her there? That's the egg, and the process that's going on in front of her there, because she's both the king and queen. See, it's like the on their honeymoon, the king and queen come running at each other on the beach. They're honeymooning in Acapulco or someplace, and they're running at each other on the beach like in a deodorant commercial. and they smash together. They hit themselves so that they turn into one character like that. See? Her blonde hair goes onto his face, and his black hair goes onto her head, and they her water is being poured on the fire symbol of the lion and turns him white, and her fire turns on is poured on the female eagle symbol, but she turns red. And in that moment, they don't care. There is no more duality. Okay. It's it's the perfect gestation thing. And in that explosion, in that ecstasy, in that wall-to-wall conscious bliss, the egg is gestated. And in that moment, two becomes one and then becomes a nothing that is so big that it potentially can create everything and anything. That dynamics takes place in humans in the ecstasy of orgasm. Don't even worry about the duality or the gender sensitivities. It goes way beyond that and into the bliss itself. Two becomes one, two becomes nothing. That is everything. And in the poem Orpheus, which is chanted, if you will, by the Maenads, the wild and crazy Dionysian worshippers, in their chant, the chant of Agave and Autene and the Maenads, as Dionysus is being invoked in the wilds of the woods. And here's that poem, or at least part of it. The white air hummeth with force of the spirit. We are heirs, we inherit. Our joys are as theirs. Weave with your prayers the joy of a kiss. I'm going to say that one again. Weave with your prayers the joy of a kiss. Ho for the bliss of the cup and the rod. He cometh, O lover, O friend, and O God. Cover us, cover our faces, and hover above us, within us. Daintily shod, daintily robed, his witcheries spin us a web of desire, subtle as fire. He cometh among us. The whole sky globed is on fire with delight, delight that has stung us, passion of night. Night be our mistress, that trees and this trees. Weave with thy wind into curls deep find, passionate bliss, rapture on rapture. Our hymns recapture the Bromian kiss. Blessed our souls, blessed this even. We reach to the goals of the starriest heaven. Daphnis and Athis and Chrysis and Chloe, mingle, O maidens, Evoe, Evoe. The one line that, in my mind at least, summarizes this whole thing. if you're going to say, what is the secret of the Gnostic Mass? What is the secret of what's the big secret of creation? Why was Crowley so excited by this concept of sex magic? What is the what is the supreme tantric message? Weave with your prayers the joy of a kiss. And that's Sunday School for today. Halloween is coming up. It'll be, won't be Halloween soon. So if I don't see you again before Halloween, have a wonderful Halloween. And so I think I was going to do something on Halloween, but we'll see. Until tomorrow, continue to be good to yourself, be good to each other, and weave with your prayers the joy of a kiss. Do what thou wilt should be the whole of the law. Love is the law. Love under will.